gotta dream it, like you mean it. Embrace the vision, no need to conceal it. Feeling masterpiece, the colors so bright. Aim for the stars, reach new heights. Align your life, don't let it design you. Chase your dreams, make them all come true. Dance to the rhythm, move with the beat. You're the creator, get up on your feet. Then you gotta dream it, like you mean it. Embrace the vision, no need to conceal it. Vision masterpiece, the colors so bright. Aim for the stars, reach new heights. Design your life, don't let it design you. Chase your dreams, make them all come true. Dance to the rhythm, move with the beat. You're the creator, get up on your feet.
Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to another episode of Design Your Life. I am so excited about my guest today, but before we get into it, I want you to understand what this podcast is all about. This podcast is about exposing you to people that have crafted a beautiful life around the things that they love, they enjoy, their passions and their talents and their dreams. And it's more than anything an opportunity for you to see some outstanding people that have done it so it becomes more real for you. For me, designing your life is the greatest gift that you could ever give yourself. And I want you to never have the excuse to say that you didn't know how, I didn't know what questions to ask, because we're going to bring some amazing people to you. And today is a special, special day for me because this is a dear friend of mine I haven't spoken to in a while, and I'm excited about it. And she's going to talk to me about a lot of different things, but let me make sure I do her justice in terms of an introduction. So she's a mother, she's a wife, entrepreneur, she's a Pilates instructor, gyrotonic and gyrokinesis master trainer. She's a dance instructor. She's a dance performer that has performed nationally and internationally. She's my amazing friend, the phenomenal fireball from Italy, Irene Pulli.
That was really nice, Obed. Thank you.
No, of course, of course. Ciao.
Ciao.
Come
How are
stai?
you? Bene, grazie. Tu?
Bene, bene, grazie.
You remember? That's good.
Yes, yes, that's about all. I've got one more up my sleeve, but that's about it.
Yeah.
No, it's so good to see you. So
Good to
I'm
see you too.
glad, yeah, and I'm glad we were able to finally catch up with each other. Irene is in Miami right now.
Yes.
So where I want to start is I want to start at the beginning. I always like to start at the beginning. So take me back to your childhood, like what it was like growing up, where you're from, where what it was like growing up, what it looked like, smelled like, and felt like as a kid when you were growing up.
So I am from Italy, and I'm from like I would say, a small town in the north of Italy called Parma. And my childhood was really nice. It's a very, I have to say, it's like a small, rich town in the north of Italy. So my childhood was very nice. I had great vacation with my family. I traveled a lot. I ride horses. I took dance classes, and I had a big family, a lot of friends. So it was a very nice childhood, I have to say. So the childhood part is nice. Yeah, and then when we got into the teenagers years, it was a little bit different. But um, so it's a classical Italian childhood. So a lot of family around
A
and
lot
a
of
lot of
food.
friends, a lot of food, yes. A lot of friends and yeah, it was actually a very nice childhood, I have to say. Very
So what?
supported by my family. Yes, so
No, that's all. So what did your parents do when you were a kid, like career wise?
my mom was a stay-home mom, and
Okay.
then my father had his own company. He did bottling systems, so he did the systems that he will sell to like Coca-Cola or like Evian or like places where they actually make the drink. So he will make like a system where they make the bottle, they put their drink into the bottle, they do the packaging. So he did that. So he
No,
was
that's dope.
working all the time and mom was home.
No, that's dope. So when you were a kid, did you have like big dreams and big goals, or did that stuff come later?
I didn't have like, I guess I didn't know what I want to be when I was young. I
Okay.
used to take dance classes and I used to ride horses and I liked it a lot. What I have to say that is stay with me since then is that I am the kind of person that likes challenges, that I thrive through challenges. So if I something is difficult, I love it because I can really, really tackle it and I put all my passion into it. So I always looked for that. I always looked for, when I was, let's say, riding horses, I always wanted the most difficult one. I wanted to have the most difficult horse to ride so that I can actually um, be the best one at it and be the one that was able to write it, that kind of stuff. Or,
Yeah.
go look for the most difficult teacher or class, dance class, and be able to master that. And I really thrive with that environment. That's how my personality is. So I don't shy away from, I guess, problems, difficulties. I actually tackle them. And that is what inspired me to grow, and to be
Yeah.
better. And that's how I work. So if things are too easy, then I get bored.
Right.
And so, you know, so I always like that. So since I was very little, I did gymnastics, it was the same. Always like, if something was difficult, I made sure I mastered it, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I don't let go. I don't know if I say it right in English, but I just don't give up.
Say it in Italian if you need to.
Yes, I will, but I definitely don't give up.
Yeah. Yeah. You ever fall off a horse?
I did, yeah, of course,
Yeah. Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course. It's like the how do you say the failure. It makes me want to do it more. I don't
There
know
you
if you
go.
understand what it is.
We're gonna talk about failure in a little bit. But what I
Yes.
want to know is, okay, so fast forward a little bit. You had a wonderful childhood, vacations, and all that. High school.
So
Who
high
were
school
you
was
in? Who were
yeah.
you in high school?
High school, I kind of like didn't find who I was yet, but I transitioned into a rebellious moment, right? So in the beginning of high school, I was like a preppy girl, like always very elegant, and with like, um, richer friends, and riding horses and vacation and doing all that. And then I got to a point where I didn't, I just kind of became rebellious. All that became very um, suffocating, and I
Yeah.
felt a little bit stuck in a situation where I didn't want to be, and I felt really unhappy. So the rebellious side start, and so I start, as you probably, I think when you met me, maybe I had that, I don't remember, but I start like having piercings and tattoo and coloring my hair and going into like with hang out with people that weren't really preppy. Actually, the opposite. They were like a little bit more, with dreadlocks and tattoos and going to concert in the squats in Europe and you know,
So you was hanging with thugs then?
pretty much the Italian style,
Yeah,
more like
Italian thugs.
Italian style. So in the squat, in I don't know. I mean, in
Yeah,
America,
what's a
there's no such.
squat? What's a
So
squat?
a squat is actually in Europe is a place where a group of people occupy and they make their own rules inside the squat. And normally it's like anarchic, so against the government, against any establishment. And so in there you can smoke weed, you can do drugs. There is a lot of concert. There's a lot of younger people,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of people that are more like there's different political parties, and they're
Yeah.
all, but mainly you're against the establishment. So there's a
Got
lot
it.
of them. There in every city in Italy. There's one. So they occupy a school or a fire station or an old house, and they pretty much have parties. Pretty much concert parties. You can eat and stay there. So that's very common in Italy, that you go to, you either have the clubs or you have the squats where you just, it's more like a hippie kind of environment. I don't know, like
Yeah.
a commune, I guess, if you want to
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
in that. Then, yeah, I don't, you guys don't have them here.
Yeah,
Or maybe
no,
you
no,
do.
not.
Maybe you do, but
Well, it's probably not the same. It's probably not the same here, and I mean, especially back then, you had like house parties.
yeah.
You had like house parties. You had like dollar parties, right? Where you go to the dollar party, you pay $1 to get into the party, and it's basically a neighborhood party, and all kinds of everybody come in there. And I've been to some of those parties where it's in someone's house, somebody's mom's house, and I remember a guy just like in the house, he starts shooting in the ceiling of the house, and yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, no, we
yeah,
don't have that. We don't, the shooting we don't have. But we have like punk rockers, skinheads, hippies, and like it's more like a political thing, I guess, if
yeah,
you want to
yeah.
say. The American is a little bit more like that kind of stuff. So no, we don't have that.
So
So,
it's
but yeah,
interesting. So it's interesting because like I know who you are for the most part now, and it just seems like, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it's like you were just trying to like find yourself, find your way,
yes,
find like a different space from what like the family was trying to like move you into.
yeah. So in Italy, it's very how can I say? So it's not like it's traditional, but it's like set what you need to do. So you go to college, then you get married, and you have kids, and it's like, and women, maybe now it's a little bit different. It's been many years since I've been there, but women tend to be like, it's nothing wrong with it, but stay home, and and the way women are seen, it's a little bit different back then than so I felt a little bit suffocated because I didn't really know what I wanted to be. So i
Yeah,
couldn't i couldn't be a dancer, I couldn't ride horses, I had to go and have a regular job kind of thing, right?
yeah,
There's not that kind of freedom that you have in the United States.
got it.
So it's kind of like there is like more traditional, I guess, if you want to call it. I don't know how to explain it to you, but it's really
Yeah,
like that. So I
no, it
couldn't
sounds
just
like
say, let me open a dance studio. It's
yeah,
never gonna happen. And for my career, what I decided to do, at a younger age in the United States, I was able to have respect and open a business and do business, where in Italy I was a younger woman, and then the men would have never respected me that way. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that's kind of the bad part about it. There's also a good side about that, but that's the bad part about it. So when I was a teenager, I would say 18, 19, 20. That's like the time that I just kind of completely, I don't know, I don't want to say lost it, but I traveled around the world. I was going to college, but not really. I was studying philosophy, so I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was just studying something to study that I liked.
yeah.
Um, because for my family was okay, now you need to go to college, leave all the rest out. And so I started traveling, and I start seeing different things, and
You were traveling by yourself.
with friends and by myself. So I went to United States, I went to Africa, I went to South America, I went to Asia, I went everywhere. And then when I would say in my early 20s, I realized I think I don't belong in Italy. I don't belong here. I need to be. I'm a free spirit. I'm really like I have to be
Yeah,
somewhere where I can just find myself. But then back then when I was in that situation, I didn't know that's what I was doing. I just thought, okay, I can. I was unhappy and I needed to leave. That's all I knew.
yeah,
But really, what I was trying to do is to find myself.
yeah. Yeah, and at that time, were you? So you've been dancing since basically you were a little girl, right?
Yeah.
So when you were like finding yourself, were you still dancing
No.
like
So
in
there was a
different places, or you
moment
just?
where, yeah, like around 17, 18, I stopped everything because it was like, okay, you now need to be going to college and be serious and whatever. But I really didn't know what to do. So going to college wasn't really what I wanted to do in a way. And
Yeah,
studying, I picked philosophy because that's something that I liked, and so I thought it was interesting, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and so I kind of felt stuck in a situation that wasn't really me. And So I stopped all that from the age of 18 all the way probably to 20, I would say 22, 23, more or less. And that's the time that I moved to United States and created a
Yeah.
new life. And then once I settled, I went back to it.
So that's where I want to go now. So what? So why did you decide? Because you've been traveling basically all over the place. So why you decide the U.S.? Why
So
come to America?
yes, so I came to United States when one time I was 17, and I actually came to Miami and I did not like it, which is very funny because I end up being here. But I've 17, I came to Miami, and because I wanted to learn English, which I didn't because I ended up hanging out with like Spanish, Italian, Brazil, so I didn't learn anything. But then I went to California. I went to San Diego. A boyfriend of mine at the time in Italy had gone to this English program at UCSD and said, it's great, you're going to learn English. So I think I was 18, 19, I think, when I went there, and I loved it. I love San Diego. It's a great place, and
Yeah.
I just liked it. So when I decide to go away, is either was going to be California or Australia. And I said, I'm just going to go to California. If it doesn't work out, I keep going and I'm going to go to Australia. I wanted to go into kind of like that place where I could actually kind of newer country where there's not a lot of, I don't want to say tradition, but there's not a lot of like culture like that I can
Yeah.
just create my own life. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
new.
Yeah. No, you can be free to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you came to the U.S. and when you so you said you visited when you were 18, but when did you move? You moved
I'm
like a
at
few years
21.
later after that, at 21.
Yeah, I moved. I was 20. I was, I think, 20. No, wait, I was 20. I turned 21, or I was already 21. I think I was already 21 when I moved to San Diego. And I didn't. So, what I did is like, I left college. I did 2 years, left college, worked for a year, saved up the money, and then grab a suitcase and told my parents I was going to go to California to learn English. And I never came back after that. And I actually, what I did is that I had met a guy in Bali that was from San Diego. And so I called him up and I said, I'm coming. And he said, oh, you can stay with me. So that's what I did. I called him and said, I'm coming to San Diego. I didn't really speak any English. I don't know how we communicate, but we did. And so he said, come, pretty much I could stay with him. And my father gave me, I don't remember, he gave me a piece of paper. And on a piece of paper, there was like few phrases, in English phrases. One was, I don't feel well. Can you please take me to the hospital? Or like where, like very basic phrases that I can use if something happened to me. That's it. And
Okay.
then they pretty much send me off. And I pretty much started with, I guess, 21, a suitcase. I didn't have a place to stay. I had money, back then. I
Yeah.
think I had like, it was like maybe $5,000 or something in my bank account. Like I saved up that much,
Yeah.
and off I went, and that was it.
Wow. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. My daughter and I will have those conversations about like just traveling and just having the courage to just kind of step out there. So that's dope. So you moved to the U.S. basically by yourself. You knew one person, not speaking English for the most part. So when you got here, you kind of like started. So you're in San Diego, and you're figuring it out. When did you discover Pilates?
So I was taking some dance classes in Pacific Beach in San Diego, and in one of when I was taking this class, right afterwards there was a Pilates class, and I had no idea what it was. So I took it. I stayed there, and there was a Brazilian lady that used to teach it, and I really liked it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. And she said, well, if you want, you can come to my studio. I have a Pilates studio. You can come and take class. So then I was like, okay. So with the equipment, because that was a math class, so no equipment. So I went and I took her class, and I think about like second, third class, she said, well, you should do the teacher training and become a teacher, right? And because at that time I wasn't really I wasn't really working or what I want. I didn't really know what I wanted to be in a way,
Yeah.
and I had just like little jobs here and there. So um,
I'm curious, little jobs here and there for you, because I don't know you as doing anything other than like dancing and teaching,
yes,
and
I know.
so
So
little jobs for you. What is it? What is that?
so at first, I think my first job in so no wait, let me see. My first job. Okay, so I started because I didn't speak English. Huh? So
Yeah, yeah.
I worked on a flower stand. I sold flowers for $5 an hour. I remember.
Okay.
And I didn't speak any English, so I had no idea what people were asking me, but I was just, but you learn. That's how you learn. You just have to
Right.
go for it. And it was a place that I can ride my bike because I lived in Mission Beach, and I remember just riding my bike. It was on a corner where there was a Dairy Queen. I remember my life, and I just sold flowers. So that was a little job. Then I taught Italian. I tutored Italian to some Mexican kids in La Jolla. And then I worked in the mall in one of those stands where they sell Italian ties, and that was all like kind of under the table, I have to say. I
Right.
didn't
Right.
have the working permits yet. So
Right.
once I got the working permits, I actually worked in Balboa Park at the Contemporary Museum of Art, and it was a Rockwell exhibit. And I just give people, those like machine that you put on the neck where you have headphones and you press the
Oh,
button and it
yeah, yeah,
tells you
yeah.
about the painting.
Yeah, the little tours and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, so I did that. And then after that, I started doing what I like, what I'm doing right now. So that was the last
No.
job that I did. Yes.
Oh, okay. So please, for me and for everybody else, the difference between gyrotonic and gyrokinesis, like what is that?
And Pilates. So I don't teach
And
Pilates anymore.
Pilates.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't teach Pilates anymore. I started with as a Pilates teacher, I have to say, and I did my training. And in my my Pilates training, I was introduced to gyrotonic, and that's how then the whole thing started. So uh, so Pilates is like they're all kind of like exercise, I guess, if you want to call it like that. And the idea of what you're pretty much doing, it's I guess creating the freedom of movement. So this is
Okay.
what's created. So Pilates was created actually for soldiers coming from war. So that's why I don't know if you ever seen the machines, but it looks like a bed, and you have
Yeah, yeah.
springs attached, right? So Joseph Pilates is a German guy that was working with soldiers coming from war, and he created hospital beds with springs and ropes that it could, a soldier without one leg or one arm could actually exercise. Then he moved to United States, to New York, and right next to his studio there was a ballet studio, and so he started incorporating the ballet movement to his Pilates method, right? So then that's why they say a lot of dancers do Pilates, but it wasn't created for dancing really. So Pilates is, I would say, it's you learn how to stabilize your joint by isolating the muscle, and you do a lot of two-dimensional range of motion, right?
Okay.
Two-dimensional meaning flexion, extension, so just up and down, open and close, right? That's kind of like what you do mainly. And the resistance is like, when you go to the gym, the machine, you push on something, right? Or you pull
Yeah.
on something. So it's called closed chain. So you're just pushing on something all the time. Um, Gyrotonic is completely different. So gyrotonic is based on Kundalini yoga and dance, and there is some swimming, some Tai Chi with it. But what his creator, Julio Orvat, he was a dancer from Hungary, and then defected to Italy and came to the United States, and he was a ballet dancer. So he pretty much was getting injured by dancing, and he started doing Kundalini yoga, but realized that Kundalini yoga wasn't giving him the strength and neuromuscular strength that you need to actually dance. So he started incorporating dance movement to the Kundalini yoga practice. And that's how he started with the yoga for dancers. And then he discovered, some, on the trash in New York, he found some bar stool or and some other pulleys, and then he created some machines that actually support the movement. In gyrotonic, pretty much you do a three-dimensional range of motion. So everything is circle. So gyro means spiraling, right?
Okay.
So, and tonic means stretching. So you pretty much do three-dimensional range of motion, and with the three-dimensional range of motion, you are pretty much strengthening the space you create in the joint. So the idea is that you create an infinite movement. So if you're a dancer or a golfer or any kind of athlete, you have no blockages so you don't get hurt. So when you move, your body's open like an animal, like cats, right? They have
Yeah.
no bones, right? So you're able to move freely at your maximum range of motion without injuring yourself. So that's kind of the idea. And my clients varies from like 10-year-old ballerina to like ballroom dancer, actress, to just people that want to get in shape, for people that have injuries in their spine. And I work with pretty much everybody from 10-year-old to like 9-year-olds.
Wow. No, that's so. So first of all, the yoga. First of all, let me back up because the dance
Sure.
part. That's the part that I wanted to know if like you were incorporating dance, which you enjoy, what you love,
Yes.
into your practice. So I didn't know that those two are kind of married, which is kind
Yes.
of that's dope. That's dope. But it reminds me of I don't know. You took me to this Bikram's yoga class one time.
Oh, yes, I
Oh
remember.
my God. And I almost died in this. So I remember going into the class, right? And whoever the instructor was, it was like, all right, if you're a beginner, there's going to be a point where you're going to feel like dizzy and you just have to fight through it. So I'm in this class, basically, I think it was like all women in there, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't.
So
You know what? I don't remember.
no, I remember. So I'm in the class. Right? I've got basically basketball clothes on. So I got these heavy shorts and
Oh
all.
my
Yeah,
God.
I got these heavy shorts on. I got all these girls in there, and I'm like, I can't pass out in front of the girls. So I get in there, and this Bikram's yoga, for those who don't know, is basically pumping in hot air, right? Dry heat. So I start perspiring. I'm sweating like crazy. My shorts are getting heavy. Doing these crazy poses that I've never
Oh
done
my God.
before. And I remember at a point I like start getting dizzy. And I'm like, I cannot pass out or fall out in front of all of these girls. So I don't know if you even know this, right?
You left.
So I left, right? But I left. I went to the bathroom because I was about to faint. I went to the bathroom and I just remember just laying on the floor and on the cold towel floor for like 20, 30 minutes. It just felt like I was about to faint. I couldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
It
think,
was too much.
yeah, no, I don't like Bikomyo either. It was like I think that was when it just started come out. So it was like a new thing, and I wanted to try it. And I think I took you. I think we were in La
Yeah,
Jolla or something like that. But yeah, no, I don't do that anymore. I don't.
yeah, yeah. No, I almost died. So it. Okay, so you're taking these courses. You're doing the trainings. At this point, I mean, I guess certain point you become a master trainer. Like, when did you decide that it was time to open your own business? Because now you have been like working different little jobs and you start taking these classes. When did you decide it was time to open and do your
So
own thing?
right away. So I think so. Let's say I finished my basic, teacher training where I was like a certified level 1 training and everything, and I start teaching right away to different studios in San Diego, right in La Jolla. And I think within 6 months, I was like, no, even I swear it was probably 3 months. I realized I was like, I don't want to work for anybody. This is
Yeah.
not I. So what I did, it was rent a small office space, because what I realized is that the people were coming back for me, right? So that I was the person that were coming to for me, and so I wasn't going to give my money to anybody else, right,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
me.
yeah.
So I was like not working, and then when you work for other people, you realize I realized I knew more than most people, and I was like, okay, I'm not making anybody money. There's no
Yeah,
way. So
yeah.
I just found a office space and I put one machine in there, and then I start teaching my clients then. And within 6 months, I already had opened a bigger studio and I had a full clientele. And because a lot of word to mouth, and people liked the way what I did, and like I guess
Mm-hmm.
like me as a person also, that's very important. They
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
comfortable. And what I just did, I start very small, and
Mm-hmm.
I, in a way that, I had enough client to cover all the expenses, and then I could just grow from there. So
Yeah.
I just started very small, and then from there I rented out a bigger space, bought more machine, and I had a full-on studio. And then I had teacher also renting the space or working for me then, and I think that lasted about 9 years, 10 years. That first studio, yeah.
Is it this is the one in La Jolla?
That was the one in La Jolla,
The
correct?
one in La Jolla where we were lifting up all of those heavy machines,
You
helping you move
did,
in? Yes.
yes,
Yeah, you
you
and your
did that.
team. Yeah, you and your team. You had me and I don't know. I don't even know if Craig was there or not, but it was me and like a couple guys lifting up these
Yes,
like 1,000-pound machines, taking them upstairs. I remember. I remember.
yes, you helped me out. That's right.
Yeah, no, that was fun though.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember this. I never forget this. I forget when we were talking about it, but you said something to me years ago now that stuck with me. You said the problem with Americans is
Oh,
first of all, well, for everybody, you got to understand. Yelena is from Italy, and everything in Italy is the best. She's the one who got me to even try coffee because this Italian coffee is the best.
yeah.
Anyway, you said the problem with Americans, and it really was like the problem with people, I think, more than anything than Americans, was that they don't specialize. And
Yeah.
that stuck
Oh,
with
yes.
me.
You know,
That stuck with me.
yes. So actually, I have to say this. My father always said, when your parents tell you something that is like a gem, and you're like, oh my God, that's what it is. And my father had told me a couple things like that. And one of the things was the world is for people that specialize. So once you specialize, you find the niche and you specialize in something that nobody else really does, or there's just few people, you're going to be successful. Because if you do something that everybody else can do, but if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
find and you create something that is really a niche, a specialties, you're going to be more likely successful than somebody that just does. I'm not saying I don't want to talk bad about the gym, right, or
no,
whatever,
no,
or
no.
personal training, right? But there's different personal training now because everybody realized that. But if you just you do just a regular personal training, and then somebody comes and does, I don't know, more specific for golfers, let's say. They work just with golfers, or they're more specific about, I don't know, flexibility, or like they found different things that they can offer. You're going to choose the one has more specialties, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
that's the idea. And that, I have to say, it's like very important. So that's also what I tell my kids all the time is like, don't work for anybody else, work for
yeah.
yourself, create your own business, whatever it is, and find a specialty that you're really good at it, and use your talent to create that specialties. To find a product that you can sell, find a service that you can give, or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, no, for sure. We got to hit that. Yes. Okay, so dance. I wanted to ask you about
Mm,
dance again. Because now, so again, like, I know you as the dancer, and I just remember just going different. I remember I got so many stuff. I remember we went to this Afro Cuban dance class. So we went to this Afro Cuban dance class,
oh my God!
and
Man, you making me. I made you do a lot of stuff.
yeah, but it was fun because it was all new stuff I had never done. So we go to this Afro Cuban dance
Okay, I
class.
want people to understand. This is Obed coming from Philly. What is the area of Philly are you from? What is the
From
area?
West Oak Lane, basically the north part of Philly, right?
Yes, right. But I've been to that part where, okay, I don't know how I survived, but I've been to it. I've been to that part. So this is little Obed coming from that and meeting me, and I'm taking to Bikram yoga, Afro-Cuban dance class, taking
Right,
to like Santeria parties and
right, right.
Italian restaurants, meeting. He was like, I took him by.
No, it was beautiful because like, and this is the beauty of just like getting out and exploring and not being afraid to do different things
Oh my
because for
God, yeah.
sure that was an experience. Just hanging out with you for sure was just an experience.
I think
So
after the Afro-Cuban class, I don't think you could walk for like.
that's yo, listen. That's what I'm getting to. So the African, so I play basketball. You know, you wear shoes. I run for hours all day. So we get in this dance class, and you have to dance barefoot. So I'm like, oh, all right, dance barefoot. Everybody else is barefoot, and whatever movements we were doing, my feet felt like they were broken. You know what I mean? Like I felt like I thought it was something wrong. I seriously thought it was something wrong. Like there's no way my feet should feel like this. My feet were like it felt like they were hurting really bad for like almost like a week. And yeah,
Oh my God.
I don't know what that was all about.
Oh, but it was. I wish I can go back, and I wish there were cell phone because we didn't have the cell phone thing that we have now. But
Yeah,
your little face and the thing, it was like the cutest thing. It was so funny. I mean, but good funny. It was like,
yeah, yeah.
oh my God, it was like so fun. But it was awesome because you were up to. Not a lot of people would be like, oh yeah, let's do it. Like, you know.
Yeah, no, I was like, what the hell? Because I think at that point, was I
Oh,
living
I
there?
think at that point, weren't you like seeing my girlfriend's soul? I think so.
I think maybe. I think
Yes,
maybe.
she was
Yeah.
from
But
Argentina. Yeah,
but you know what? I think it was even after that though
it was.
that I was hanging out with Soul though. That was
Yeah,
before Soul.
probably. I don't
That was
remember, but
before Soul.
she was in my. She used to dance with me, so that's how.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So that was a
Mhm.
part of my San Diego experience, of just kind of getting around and hanging out, and yeah. Now I never forget that. My feet were like just on fire, burning.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to know. So you're in San Diego, you got your business going, and just I guess I really want to know like you came from Italy
Yes.
basically by yourself and
Yes.
you started this business and you said that you never had a second thought, but was it like scary at all like
No.
starting your new business or you just was like this is what it is and I'm going.
So yeah, yeah, pretty much. You can call it like being immature, I guess. If but I still work that way, so I don't know. Maybe I'm still immature, but um, I think so. It's not that I don't feel fear, right, or like insecurity because we all do, right?
Yeah.
That's normal, right? But I don't make decision based on that. That's the most
Yeah.
important thing. So you don't want to make decision on fear. So what is the worst case scenario? Is that it didn't work out. Find something else.
Yeah.
It's not like so. My grandmother used to say to me, and I go by that very much. There's a solution to everything. The only thing you cannot solve is death. When you die, this is it, right?
Right.
So anything in life can be solved. There's a solution for everything. There is, and I I was fortunate enough that my family was always supportive in the mean. Like if something happened to me, I can always fall back into my family, go home, right? So I
Yeah, yeah,
had
yeah.
that. So I know there's people don't have that, and that it's harder because then you're like on your own, and that's more difficult. I had that, I have to say. So that's an advantage that a lot of people maybe don't have. But I knew that if I felt, and I'm not scared to be a failure. When it's what is a failure, I'm gonna feel like shit because you do.
Yeah.
Everybody does. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
said that word. Is that okay?
No, no, this is a safe place. You can cuss.
Oh, okay. So
We're talking.
I felt you feel terrible,
Yeah.
but then you get back up, and just keep going. You know, that maybe didn't work. You needed to do it differently, or it's in many. I mean, I made so many mistakes, and
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
marriages and men and all kinds of craziness and things, and
Hmm.
so you just make mistakes and um, learn from it. That's very cliche. Everybody says that, but it's really true. And there, to me, when you make a mistake, it's kind of like a rebirth. I don't know. It's like, okay, you made a mistake, you had a failure. Well, now you have to reinvent yourself. So it's like you reborn different,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't, my character, the way I am, my personality, I don't like to be stuck. I don't like to stagnation. I hate that. I just can't be like that. So I'm always in movement, like my job, right?
Hmm.
So I'm always movement. I like flexibility, movement. So I can, when I feel stuck in a situation, it drives me crazy. So I find a way out of this
Yeah.
situation, whatever it is. It can be very hard and tough, but you know what? It's awesome because you grow and change and you become better and better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you create your own situation, like your decision, unless something, very unfortunate happened, but in general, you make your own decision, you create your environment. So maybe you didn't make the right decision, you need to change, so
I mean, I
I
think
would,
a lot of it, from what I'm
yes,
hearing, is just belief. I mean, just from in terms of like when you started the business, it was almost like a no brainer because you
no,
really believed that it was possible, and that's one of the things that I think a lot of people struggle with. Go ahead.
no, you have to, I would say my advice is to find somebody that, something that is like second nature, like something that you are, how can I say, that's your journey, right? That's who you are. So like if you're good at speaking, then that's what you need to do. You're good at
Yeah.
moving, that's what you need to do. Or you're good at people, then maybe you have to sell things, like you have people skills, or something that you don't struggle, that it comes like second nature, and it makes you feel good. So I have to say this, and
Yeah.
I realized that with the many, many years, and I had a studio for, like, now it's been 24 years that I have a business. Let's put it this way. I can have any problems in my life, any kind of problem. But when I am in my business and I'm teaching and in my space, everything goes away. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I am in my environment. Um, and I'm able, it's not taking away from me, it's actually healing me, and I'm happy and
Yeah.
I'm giving and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and I love it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's, one of very important thing. Like I can just have a crazy fight with my husband and be like fighting, and then I come to work, and the moment I start teaching or start moving, all that is like I don't even remember it. Like it goes
Yeah.
away. And so then when I go back to my husband, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my personal, um, it's like my safe spot, I guess, if you want to call it. I don't know how to either call it like that. A safe space or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I think that's the core of designing your life. The
Yes.
core of it is when you design your life around something that you love so much that you just get lost in it, that you can do it for hours, that it doesn't feel like work, that's the thing that you can go to like you say, heal yourself. That's the sweet spot. That's where I think a lot of people, go wrong. I had a conversation with a young guy the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're about to get out of high school. What are you gonna do? Oh, I think I'm gonna be an electrician." And as we talk, long story short, is he couldn't care less about being an electrician. He just knows people who've done that. He hasn't taken time to like really, self-reflect and look at himself and like figure out what he actually enjoys or what his talent is or what his dreams are. So for me, that's just like the core of designing your life. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I mean, most people don't have that when they go to work. Most people don't have that, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so now talk to me about, so okay, so you moved from San Diego to Miami.
Yes.
So what was that transition like, just from a business standpoint, right? Because you had this
Um,
studio in San Diego. Was it just
it's
like easy peasy kind of like thing? And like, what were some of the biggest challenges just opening up the studio, going in that different space?
You know, I because of Dana, this is my third time doing it, opening a studio. So I opened one in La Jolla, then I closed that, and then I reopened another area of San Diego, and this is my third one. So I kind of know how it goes. I already
Yeah, yeah,
knew how it went, and um, so it's like a no-brainer. I don't know how to explain it. I've been here so many times that it's like
yeah, yeah.
easy for me. Like I couldn't open another one somewhere else. I mean, it doesn't really matter because I've done it so much. You know, the
Right,
experience,
right.
of course. So it's different here than it is in California, and I mean, it's an awesome change. It's great, and it's just I think I opened in 2021. So, and
Okay.
every season, because Miami is very seasonal, but every season it's like get more clients and more clients and more clients. And I really didn't do anything. Like, I didn't do any advertisement, I didn't do anything. I just, because it's so specific what I do that when
Yeah.
people look for it, they find me, and then
Right.
they tell their
Right.
friends. And so it's
Specializing,
um
just like we talked
yes.
about.
So and it's low, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because this is the field that I'm in, of course, it's not going to be like 20 people out the door every day. But because of
Yeah.
the field that I'm in, this is how it works. And it goes low, steady growth is great. And there is always going to be clients for everybody, classes, and I do teacher training, and I do this. So I create like a community around me of people that love what I do, and it's nice. And I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
the Florida is awesome because people are very welcoming, and they're like very embracing, and there's like I don't know, maybe like not all Florida, I don't know, I've been to the southern part of Florida, I guess, but here is like either they love you or they don't like you, and when they
Right.
love you and they like you, they give you 100%. Where
Yeah.
in California it's very vanilla. Everybody's like, you stay there, I stay here. Everybody's like on their like very standoffish, and
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah. Yeah.
really is like, right. Where here is like you feel that you feel alive. Where in
Yeah.
California you don't, as a lot, I have to say. But here you do feel alive every day. So I already created a lot of very great relationships in so short time, and it was I needed a change. San
Yeah.
Diego gave me great 20. I was there for 24 years. So San Diego
Yeah.
gave me a lot of very good things, and I grew a lot. But I think I was done. I was done with San
Yeah.
Diego, and I needed, well, me and my family, because I brought my whole family this time with me.
Right.
I'm not by myself. So I brought my whole family with me, and they needed also a change, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Now, it can never be just peachy. It can never just be all just really, really good. So I need to talk about,
no,
like, tell me about like maybe one of the biggest challenges that you just have faced, whether it's personal or professional, whatever it is, but just how you got through it, just in general. Whenever you pick, whatever, just whether it's
here
in
in
Miami,
this
whether it's
last,
Miami, whether it's Miami, San Diego, Italy, just like one of the biggest challenges, because like I think especially, and I have a daughter, but just for like girls watching that are saying, you know what, it sound, she came from this environment and everything seems to be going really well. How did you manage the failures? How did you manage the challenges? So I don't know if you can just pluck one out, 'cause I know you said there were a lot.
you have to. I'm not sure I understand your question. Can you like explain a little bit
So
more?
one of the biggest, have you ever failed in
Oh
anything,
yeah,
right? Okay.
oh yeah, many
So,
times.
right. So one of the biggest failures that you would consider a failure, right? So
I don't
think of,
ever consider. I
or
really
a
don't
challenge,
ever
because I look
challenge.
at
No.
it, I look at it differently, but a lot of people look at it as failure. Now I want to talk to you about it, but people look at it as failure. So like one of your biggest challenges in life.
Uh, in the work or anywhere.
Wherever you want.
Mm, I mean, if you want to really think about, there's like relationship wise. We can talk about for hours there, but if you, but that's a whole different thing.
That's a
But
whole other
it,
thing.
yeah, yeah. But in the work wise, um, you know, you okay, I have to say, you have to be, the consistency and the dedication is hard. That's what you need to do, because a lot of times you're just like exhausted, you have nothing to give, you did so much, and it's, there's so much you can do, but it's
Yeah.
just not giving up, I guess you say, and just be consistent in what you do. So there is like, I remember in the beginning there were days where I taught like from 7 in the morning until 7 at night. I would never do that again, but I'm saying when I was
Yeah.
younger and I was just learning. Or I used to just like drive from San Diego to Los Angeles, take a course all day and then drive 4 hours back, like crazy things like that,
Yeah.
I just pushed through it because I don't know, I just knew that's what it needed to happen. I needed to like do it. You can't just like, now it's different. Now I'm older and I wouldn't do that. But I pay my dues, I guess. I don't know if that
Yeah.
answer your question at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
no, for sure.
or for example, okay, let's say I was in La Jolla. I got pregnant with my first son, and I decided, my husband was in Cuba at the time, and I decided I don't want to be in the United States anymore. I want to go back to Italy. So closed the studio, went back to Italy, did not want to be in Italy, packed everything, went back and find myself pregnant with no husband in San Diego. I was pregnant, no husband, no nothing, no house, no studio, no work, and I start from zero. I really did. So what I did is, I have to say, I had the support of my family, which is like a big deal. So I wasn't all by myself. Like my mom came help me out, so I had
Yeah.
that for sure. I wasn't all by myself, but I found myself an apartment. I started working at other studios, so I went from like having everything to having nothing. So kind of like what
Yeah.
I did here, and I start, working in renting out other studios, seeing some clients, and then from there, just working part time, and then I had the baby, and then from there I was like, I need to open my own studio because where I was, I couldn't be myself and whatever. So by then, Ronaldo had come, and when I was pregnant with my second child, I opened a new studio. So I was pregnant when I actually opened my business, and I just did it. I just opened my
Yeah.
studio, and I had no clients whatsoever. So we were like financially struggling because my husband just came from Cuba. I was pregnant, I had a little one, and I opened a studio. But you know
Right.
what? I never give up. I was like
Yeah.
there and doing it, and trying to figure out how can I do it. And my studio now is like super successful. I don't have, it's not mine anymore, but it's still there, and it's like a very successful studio. And I started, when I was at, I guess, I wasn't at the lowest point, but I didn't have anything, nothing.
Yeah. So
So,
this was because just to quantify it, this was not the studio in La Jolla. This was the one in North Park, I believe,
in
right?
North End,
In
the
North
second
Park.
one. So
Right.
I
Right.
had a very successful studio in La Jolla, very successful.
Right.
I left. I left it and I moved back to Italy. So I pretty much left everything and I started again from zero. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying when I came here to Miami, I wasn't pregnant, so that was good. My children, they were like, they're already in high school, whatever. So I was like, oh, this is better.
Yeah.
So I already done it. And, I remember one master trainer that I used to study with, and I remember one of the things she was actually talking about dance, but is for everything, is like consistency and dedication is the key for everything. If you want to succeed
Yeah.
at something, is consistent and dedication.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the thing that does it. And don't give up. And things are hard, but I never felt sorry about myself. I never felt, oh,
Yeah.
poor me, I can. No, I just like it, I made the choices, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and nobody's gonna feel sorry for you, you know.
Nah, I made the choices. I always like try to be in the best position, you know.
You mentioned a mentor. I'm curious about how you feel
Yes.
about mentors.
Oh, it's very important. I had a lot of them in dance and also in gyrotonic or and in Pilates. The persons that I kind of looked up to it through my career.
Yeah.
I had a lot of them. Yes, I have to say. I kind of like learn a lot from different kind of people.
Okay, so now I'm gonna try to wrap this up for you, but
Yes.
I want to
No, no
know.
worries.
Okay, so I want to know. Like, I
Mm,
kind of want to make because this is all about designing life and helping people understand how that kind of works, right?
yes.
So, if there's a dreamer, right, with a dream that wants to design their life, but they don't really know where to start, like, what would you say? Like, they have this thing that they love, that they really like feel like their heart speaks to, but they don't know where to start. What kind of advice would you give them?
I will look for somebody who's already kind of doing it or similar and see what they're doing and maybe go talk to them and see, you know, how they do it or if there is any, I don't know what the dream is, but whatever it is, if there is any like already either they can create as much knowledge as possible on that so they have an idea and they feel secure to take the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Okay, now the opposite.
Yeah.
Somebody they want to design their life, but they have no idea of like what their talent is or what their dream is, and
Oh,
but they
you have to try different things. You can't
okay,
just, you have to go out and try different things. And that's what I did. You just have to try different things. And, you know, if it is maybe traveling or like doing a different class or pick anything, just like anything that can kind of get your curiosity going and be like, oh, I wanted to know a little bit more of that. Oh, I want to visit that place. Oh, I want to
right,
take that class. And that I think that's what helped me, you know, the most. I always wanted to like seek like, well, that's new, that's different. What is there? And then that's how you grow and figure out what you want, I think.
okay. Now there, uh, I guess if you looked at your career early on, is there anything that you would tell yourself or that you learned early on in your career that you would have changed?
Yes, don't give so much. Now, don't give so much to the clients because sometimes the people that you work with, they kind of
Yeah,
like
abuse it.
yes, or they feed off your energy and then you become like completely like they take so much you know, from you. So, and this is like a struggle in anything, is like being able to set your boundaries. I think
There you
that's
go.
very important, you know.
Okay.
Especially as when you give a service, right? So
Yeah.
maybe when you give a service you have to be able to set your boundaries and your values because people tend to like, not everybody, but a lot of people tend to like push those boundaries, you know.
Right.
So
Right.
I learned that in life later on, you
Yeah.
know, with my career. In the beginning, I kind of people took advantage of that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now I want to play a quick game, and then we're going to get ready to wrap it up.
Yes.
All right. The game is called Imagine If.
Oh,
Imagine
I don't know
if.
what that means.
Imagine if. All right. I'm gonna
Oh,
ask you a question.
if. Oh,
Imagine
okay.
if. Imagine if. Imagine if you woke up tomorrow and you could
Yes.
speak a fourth language. What would that
Yes.
language be? What would that
Portuguese.
language be? And how would it Portuguese? Okay. And
Yes.
how would that help you enhance your life?
Oh, I don't know because I want to go to Brazil. I just want to go to. I really like. I'm really like tickled by going to Brazil these days. I don't know. I want to go see it. It's like something there that I want to experience. So
Okay, well that should be
that's what.
easier. It should be easier too because of you got the English, the Spanish, the Italian.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
Portuguese
Yes.
are kind of like married together.
Yes.
Okay, imagine if you can dance anywhere in the world, anywhere in the world,
Anywhere. Yes.
anywhere in the world that you have not already danced. Where would it be, and what style would you?
Where I never. Oh, you know what? That's a good question. Oh yes, in Brazil, I want to go down the carnival. You know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I want to do that. That would be awesome. I think that would be really cool. You know, when they have the carnival, they go down the path.
If
Yes.
you had some advice that you would give to a person that's really like kind of lost and trying to figure it out, what would that advice be? I think I lost you. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
There you
no,
go.
because they were yeah.
Okay.
To figure out what they need, or just to experience as much as they can and do
Yeah.
different things. Yeah, just
Okay.
like try to go out there and figure out, like, travel, go somewhere, see the different world, and maybe it's not just even like going in another country, but going to another city, and
Yeah.
just see what is out there, pretty much.
Okay. Two more questions. Are you living? Do
Yes.
you feel like you're living your life by design, and why is that important to you?
By design, what does that mean?
Yeah. Are you living a life that you've actually designed for yourself?
Oh wait. Um. Yes, pretty much.
And why is that important?
Mm, because for me, the most important thing is freedom. So
Yeah.
I have to be free of making my, to make my own decision, make my own life, and because your life is made, pretty much is the decision you make, you create your reality, right?
Right.
So I have to be able. For me, that's the most important thing. Is like be able to be free. Most
That's
important.
perfect. No, that's
Yes.
perfect. Okay, so the last question I want to ask you is people that have designed their lives, they know other people that have designed their lives, right? So I want
Yes.
you to think about a person that you believe that has designed or crafted like a beautiful life for themselves. But before you give me the name, you got to help me get them on the show.
Ah, how bad? Why
One
you have to
person.
do this difficult
One.
thing? Mamma
That's
mia, how bad?
one
Mamma mia, how
person.
bad? But you
You
like
okay?
your
There's
mom,
one. So you might even that might even be her. I don't know. That might even be her.
Stephanie? Yeah, you wanna talk to Stephanie? Okay.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to talk
Yes.
to her
Oh
later.
yeah. Yeah, Stephanie. She's about to do a bunch of different things for herself. So
Okay, perfect. So we'll
yeah.
see if we can connect with Stephanie.
Yes.
Um,
She was a ballerina, and she teaches Pilates. And she's been in Miami. She's from Miami, so she can give you
okay.
another. Yes.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, last thing. I mean, is there any way that people should be able to contact you if they want to set up a class? How can people get in contact with you?
Just look it up on gyrotonicaventura.com.
Okay.
That's my studio name webpage, and there is all the information, emails and phone numbers and everything.
Awesome. All right, look, don't leave. Just hold on. Hold on one
Yes.
second.
No,
But
I'm
first
here.
of all, just thank you so much. I really appreciate you just giving me your time. We haven't spoken in so long, so it's so good to
Yes.
see you. And I want to give you a hug. Obviously, you are where you are, and I can't wait to come. But thank
Yes.
you. Hold on one second. Man, that was an outstanding conversation with my friend Irene, and the power of belief is what I got out of a lot of our conversation. Is just the power to believe in yourself, believe in the possibilities of what you can do, who you can become, and not only that, but just designing your life around things that you believe in, that make you feel good, that challenge you, and never being stopped. I mean, she's such a powerful woman, and I think you can see that. And for the most part, she's living the way that she wants to live, and it's all around her own design. So just remember, you are a champion and you can do it. Next week, we're going to have another amazing guest. I look forward to it. And just remember, as long as you keep taking steps forward in the direction that you choose yourself, it's going to happen for you. All right? Remember, you're a champion. Design your life. Thank you for sitting in with us. Peace.
Design your life. You gotta dream it, like you mean it. Embrace the vision, no need to conceal it. Feel the masterpiece, the colors so bright. Aim for the stars, reach new heights. Align your life, don't let it design you. Chase your dreams, make them all come true. Dance to the rhythm, move with the beat. You're the creator, get up on your feet. Then you gotta dream it like you mean it. Embrace the vision, no need to conceal it. Picture masterpiece, the colors so bright. Aim for the stars, reach new heights. Design your life, don't let it design you. Chase your dreams, make them all come true. Dance to the rhythm, move with the beat. You're the creator, get up on your feet.